Good afternoon, this is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barracks at Imperium Chambers. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button to keep up to date with all immigration news. Today, the shocking story that as a result of Priti Patel's behaviour, child migrants are being denied the help that they require. This has led to Kent Council seeking to start legal proceedings against Priti Patel for what they say is unfair pressure on them to make them process newly arrived asylum seekers in the United Kingdom, in particular children. Poor Kent. It has really suffered at the hands of the Secretary of State. Not only were they forced to house people in Napier Barracks, now it is which was shut, obviously, now it is the turn of the Humane Home Office to deny child asylum seekers and migrants the help that they need. As we know, Napier Barracks, a former notorious army accommodation, was found to be not fit for purpose or not fit to house asylum seekers, and that's also based in Kent. So is Dover, the small coastal town that many asylum seekers arrive at when they arrive in the UK by boat or if they come by lorry. Kent Council has said that its services are being overwhelmed by the number of people arriving at Dover, and has said that it may be forced to turn away child asylum seekers and migrants if the Home Office doesn't step in to relieve the pressure. Other councils have apparently said that they're more than willing to provide support, but that they need funding from the government, this government, to do so. The Home Office has rather unhelpfully, but perhaps not unsurprisingly, not provided any assurance or guarantee that they will be provided with such funding. With more people attempting to make the crossing to the UK from France in the summer months, understandable given the weather, Kent Council is worried that it cannot handle everybody that arrives. So far this year, 240 people have travelled alone, children this is, to the United Kingdom, but only 52 have been moved to other councils. Kent is currently caring for 403 unaccompanied children, nearly twice as much as the government has said that it was safe for them to do so. One might have thought that the Home Office had learnt its lesson regarding overcrowding and poor accommodation, given what the High Court said about Napier Barracks. Indeed, in the Napier Barracks case, they went further and said that not only was the accommodation unsuitable, but locking people in at night meant that they were unlawfully detained. Whilst there is a voluntary transfer scheme whereby other councils can take on child asylum seekers, obviously it's voluntary and obviously councils are stretched financially. But the legal proceedings that the Kent County Council are seeking to bring are going to make the scheme mandatory. As without funding, as I've said, councils don't really have much of an incentive to take on other child migrants. They need to be housed and they're more expensive probably than adult migrants. The government, unsurprisingly, has so far refused to step up and take responsibility for child asylum seekers arriving in the United Kingdom, and essentially is expecting Kent to just bear the brunt of the issue. The benefits of a mandatory transfer scheme would mean that children arriving in Kent will be able to access local services fairly without being crammed into one local authority which is already overburdened. Let's hope that the Kent County Council gets somewhere with this judicial review and the Home Office back down. We have seen rather disturbing images of people arriving on boats and being essentially turned away in previous summers, and it is clear that once people arrive in the United Kingdom that they do need, as per our international obligations, to be treated with dignity and respect, notwithstanding the humane Home Office supposedly policies towards migrants. Well, if Priti Patel's Home Office is anything to go by, this is going to be a big ask and will probably lead to a court case and will probably lead to another defeat for this Secretary of State. I pause there and wonder, has any other Secretary of State for the Home Department been so censured so many times by the courts and various inspectorates and kept their jobs? Over the last 20 odd years that I've been doing this job, I can't think of anyone. She really seems to be the Teflon Secretary of State. However, once the pandemic, and I pray to God it goes quickly, and once Brexit is finally done, then I don't think there'll be anywhere for her to hide. And hopefully we'll get a new Secretary of State, a new immigration policy and the amnesty that is desperately required. Thank you very much for watching this disturbing video. Please subscribe, please stay safe. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barracks at Imperium Chambers.